Welcome to the FedLife podcast with Dan Sipe from Serving Those Who Serve. In this podcast, Dan draws from years of financial experience to help federal employees overcome challenges that every Fed can relate to. Join us for this journey as we reach, teach, and serve to help you make the right financial decisions. Now, on to the show.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the FedLife podcast. I am once again your host, Dan Sipe. Additionally, I'm the branch manager here at Serving Those Who Serve and Lee Sipe and Associates, and I want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to this. And above all, as I do every single time, and I will continue to do so as long as I am here in front of this microphone drawing breath, I am going to say thank you for your service, because you do not hear it enough, and you will always hear it here. We are back once again with the incomparable, the inevitable, the guru, Ed Zurndorfer, as part of our ongoing mission to reach, teach, and serve you. Disclaimer time, as I always have to do. At the outset, I need to say the opinions of our guest, Ed Zurndorfer, no matter how amazing they are not the opinions of Raymond James or Serving Those Who Serve. This podcast is presented for information only and is not intended to be taken as advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action, unless their personal advisors don't know what they're doing, and then you should come to Ask Ed at stwserve.com. That's Ask Ed, stwserve.com. Shoot a question in there. Ed has a team of trained people in addition to himself to be able to help you with that. As always, these podcasts will mirror Ed's FedZone articles, which you can find at fed-zone.com or hit up the main website. It's stwserve.com. It's newly redesigned. It is specifically built to get you the information you need so that it's timely and accurate and you can find it easily. I think you're going to like it. Check it out. Send us a note if you like it. If you have any suggestions, that's what we want to do. This episode is going to be all open season because it is that time of year again. And Ed feels that is mightily important, so that's why we are dedicating not one but two podcasts as a primer. We're going to stay on the high level because Ed has some really, really good articles on this, and within it, he has some very important links that will take you to information about plans, rates, that sort of thing. So you can really do your homework. So that's why we're staying high level. We do want you to go back to the FedZone and read those articles because they are dynamite. So, Ed, let's jump in on health plan choices for the 2021 plan year. Your article outlines six categories of those health plans. So why don't you list them, and then we can jump in on them one at a time.
Absolutely, Dan. Okay, the six types of plans are fee-for-service plans, and we're going to explain what each plan is. Fee-for-service plans. There are fee-for-service plans with a preferred provider organization. Mm-hmm. There are health maintenance organizations, or HMOs for short. There are point-of-service, POS, health plans. There are consumer-driven health plans. Mm-hmm. And there are high deductible health insurance plans.
Okay. Alrighty.
So those are the type of plans.
Pretty good spread there. So as we promised, let's jump on one at a time. So walk us through fee for service. What does that mean?
A fee for service plan is a traditional type insurance in which the health plan, in which you can see any doctor you want, mm-hmm. and the health insurance plan will either pay the doctor or hospital or lab directly or reimburse the insured after the insured has filed an insurance claim. Again, the insured individual has to file the claim. That the doctor's office, the hospital, the lab typically does not do anything. It's all up to the insured. So the insured files the claim, and then after paying the bill, usually has to pay the bill, and then will get reimbursed by the insurance company after the claim has been filed and approved by the insurance company. So that's a classic called fee for service.
So most of us, I guess that's kind of what we tend to think about. Classic health insurance. Go see a doc. There's a bill. pay it, get reimbursed, or the insurance company pays that. Now, you also explain that fee-for-service plan can also match up with a preferred provider organization, or PPO. Tell us about that.
Yes, this a fee-for-service plan with a preferred provider organization. What happens here is that anybody who's enrolled in this type of plan will see who sees medical providers who have agreed to be part of the fee-for-service plan and have agreed to reduce their charges as a result of being part of this network. The result is that anybody that is enrolled in the plan will typically pay less out-of-pocket money when they use a preferred provider.
Gotcha.
The fact is that when you're enrolled in a fee-for-service plan that has a preferred provider that's associated with a preferred provider organization, a doctor's office, a hospital, that does not mean you have to go to that preferred provider. You can go outside the so-called network, but if you do, you typically, again, now we're back to the fee-for-service plan. You got to typically pay the bill, file the claim, and then get reimbursed, and you probably will pay more because there's no any type of discount by the medical provider. It gives you a little more freedom, but you probably will end up paying more again because if you go out of town, go out of network, and you see doctors who do not reduce their charges, hospitals do not reduce their charges. Generally speaking, many plans are associated with preferred provider there because the doctors and the hospitals have found that this is probably the most attractive thing for people to enroll in that type of plan. They find it to be more attractive. It's rare that one can find a pure fee-for-service plan because they just are not that attractive. People not realize that they're going to end up paying more out of pocket if they pay more, period, by being associated with just a pure fee-for-service plan. And also, as I mentioned, with a pure fee-for-service plan, you, as the insured, you got to do all the paperwork. You got to pay first, submit the claim, and wait to be reimbursed.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
That basically, I find that fee-for-service plans are very rare now. It's a fee-for-service plan. Most likely will be associated with a preferred provider organization.
Gotcha. And it also in that article you include a link for the premium cost for 2021. So by all means, folks, get to fed-zone.com. And you'll see, these are some of Ed's most recents, you'll see the one for the 2021 plans. So as I was listening to it, PPO sounds a little like what I kind of grew up with knowing as an HMO, health maintenance organization, but there is a difference, correct?
HMO and a PPO?
Yep.
Yes, with a health maintenance organization, Dan, just want to give an example. Everybody, I'm sure, has heard of Kaiser.
Yes.
There are other organizations that have HMOs. There are different types, as we'll find out here in a few moments. There are different types of HMOs. But Kaiser is a classic HMO in which an individual who enrolls in an HMO goes to that HMO for all of their care. They have a primary physician, and if they need a specialist is usually in the HMO. The hospital is also associated with the HMO. The good news about HMOs is the fact that, generally speaking, your out-of-pocket costs will be very, very small. Very, very small. The bad news about an HMO is HMOs are usually unique to a locality. If someone is enrolled in an HMO, let's say they go out of town and they get sick or, God forbid, an accident, something like that, then the HMO is not there. Where are they going to go? They have to go to a doctor. They have to go to the hospital. They most likely will have to pay the bill, and then hopefully the HMO will reimburse them the care. I've seen this many times, particularly overseas. You go overseas, and there's certainly going to be no HMO over there office that's associated with your HMO, and you have to just pay the bill and get reimbursed when you come back to the States and apply, just submit the bill to the HMO yourself. HMOs, they are somewhat. I've heard some good things about Kaiser. Some people are a little bit disappointed that they're so restricted in the amount of the number of doctors that actually operate under the HMO. They don't have
Gotcha.
much choice. But again, the result is that the premiums tend to be a little more or less than compared to if you went to let's say a fee-for-service with a PPO, because again, you're a little more restricted as far as care is concerned.
Gotcha. And also with that, you have a good link in the article that shows the HMO rates and also the coverage areas, because that's going to be important. So hit up Ed's article and take a look at that if you're thinking about HMOs. All right, let's keep moving. So now we're on to point of service or POS plans. So what are they and how do they work?
Yeah, I think, Dan, we're running out of alphabet here. Alphabet soup. We had HMO, we had PPO, HMO, now we're up to POS. Okay, so a POS health insurance plan is structured in many ways as a combined health maintenance organization and a PPO. It's like combined in the following sense. A POS plan is not as restrictive as a traditional HMO in that a POS enrollee is not is restricted just to HMO doctors. If they stick to the HMO doctor, they're definitely going to save money. Their overall out-of-pocket expenses will be much less. But if they are not satisfied with the HMO doctor, and especially a specialist, and they want to go out of the HMO, they can. And then if they go to somewhere that's associated with a PPO, that is a PPO, they will save some money. So I guess what I'm saying is that in combining the HMO and the PPO, your overall out-of-pocket costs will be a little bit more perhaps compared to if you were just in the HMO, but definitely less compared to if you enrolled in a fee-for-service plan. But I just want to repeat something I may have said earlier, perhaps on an earlier podcast. This is very important. One should not just look at the premiums here of the fee-for-service PPO, HMO. There's more to it. We're talking about important issues here. About you may have as a potential enrollee in these plans, you may have certain members of your family may have certain medical needs that may be best addressed not by going to an HMO. You want to go to a certain specialist who's not in the HMO, and you're going to be spending quite a lot of time with that specialist. In that case, maybe an HMO is not for you, even though you might save money by enrolling in HMO. You have to look at the whole picture here. It's more than just premiums. Yes, you don't want to pay more out of pocket than you have to. You don't want to pay more deductibles than you have to, but you got to look at the quality of care and going to the doctors you think are the best that can treat your unique medical needs or a member of your family's medical needs. It's more than just premium dollars that count here.
Wise words indeed. Okay, so now we got all the way up to the P's. Now we're going to drop back to the C's with consumer-driven health plans. Boy, that sounds like a great name. What does it do? How's it work?
Consumer-driven health plans is used to describe a variety of mechanisms for providing health insurance or funding healthcare costs, all of which encourage individuals to become actively involved in making their own healthcare decisions. For example, designing their own health insurance coverage. The idea being that one will choose a plan and they'll be able to select their doctors, shop around for their health care, choose the hospitals, choose the doctors, choose the specialists, whatever, that will charge the less amount of money so that they'll save money as much as possible. I have a little bit of a problem with this.
Gotcha.
I really do. I've always had problems with these consumer-driven health plans. They came around probably about 20 years ago. And here's my problem, Dan. I don't know if too many doctors, when you call them up, if you're shopping around for doctors, how many doctors, when you call them up and you ask the question, how much do you charge for a typical visit? Do you know of any doctors who answer that question?
No.
Or I use this extreme example. If I had a heart attack and I'm being sent, and I'm in the ambulance, the rescue squad, and I have this certain insurance that will cover me in the hospital, and I know I'm going to need special care. I want to be seen by a cardiologist, someone who specializes in heart attacks or strokes. And there's a certain hospital in this area that specializes in heart patients. And here I'm in the ambulance, and they're talking about going to the nearest hospital, whether it's in my area, it's Holy Cross Hospital or Suburban Hospital. And I hear the members of the rescue squad discussing that we got to get to the closest hospital, and I'm semi-conscious. I hear the word Suburban Hospital, or I hear Holy Cross. Says no, don't go there. Don't go there, because there's a cheaper hospital that's 30 miles away. I want you to go there because I found out they charge less than Suburban Hospital or Holy Cross. How many people are going to do that? You know,
not me.
You want good care. You can't. When it comes, you don't shop around for health care like you shop around for a car. So
gotcha.
There's ways to save on health care, but calling up hospitals and doctors and asking what their rates are is not going to work.
Sure.
Not going to work. So I just have a little bit of a problem with this. I just don't understand the concept of it, how somebody can design their health care. But it's there. Sure. There are certain plans out there, and they are included in the Federal Employees Health Insurance, that it's my understanding that they will give you a certain amount of money to work with that they'll pay for your care, but once you exceed that amount, then you got to pay the rest of it out of pocket.
Gotcha.
Wow, I got a problem with this.
Sure.
I really do.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's wrap up with number 6, which sounds like it should be bad, but as we know, names can be deceiving. A high deductible health plan, on the surface, somebody would go, why would I want that? Well, tell folks what it's all about and why it might be a good idea.
A high deductible health insurance plan is a health insurance plan in which the person enrolled has a minimum deductible that the IRS sets each year for single individuals and for individuals who have family coverage. For example, in 2021, they already set them as $1,400, and for self and family coverage is $2,800. And the idea being, again, that the plan that you're enrolled in is not going to start paying the expenses until you've reached your deductible. Mm-hmm. Now, people say, oh, my God, I got to pay $1,400 out of pocket. I got to pay $2,800 out of pocket for my family before they start paying. I don't know if I can really afford to do that. Well, they sweeten the pot here. There are a couple things that people should be aware of about the high deductible health insurance plans. They are associated with something called a health savings account, an HSA, in which your premiums are going to be lower. You do have a high deductible, but you are allowed to contribute to the HSA, put money in there to use for any out-of-pocket expenses. This account, which is very similar to a healthcare flexible spending account, you pull the money going in is pre-tax dollars. And the money in the account will grow. It gets some in earnings, and then the money coming out of it is going to be not taxable, provided you use it for medical, dental, vision expenses. This HSA account can be carried over when you're done. We're going to be talking a lot about this on our next podcast. I will be writing a lot about the HSA during November. During my weekly Fed Zone columns, at least one column will be on HSA, but people still panic when they think about this high deductible. Well, I do want to say this, that under the Affordable Care Act of 2010, everyone please note, It's still the law. It's still law. We still have the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act says that if you are enrolled in a high-deductible health insurance plan, you or any member of your family incurs certain expenses will be paid what's called first dollar. You do not have to reach that deductible.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to reach it up before the plan will pay. Now, what are these expenses? What does first dollar coverage include? Well visits.
Mm-hmm.
When you go for your annual well visit. Most recently, I was ruled by IRS, no less, because they really are the determining factor as far as the HSAs. It's really as part of the Affordable Care Act. IRS was put in charge in terms of some of the aspects of the ACA, including HSAs. If you have to be treated but for COVID, it's also first dollar coverage. You don't have to meet your deductibles. There's other things. If you want to go to a stop smoking clinic, it covers certain preventive procedures, certain preventive things like colonoscopies, mammograms. All these type of things are covered first dollars. Dan, I'm going to be very honest with you. I love these HSAs. I think it's going to be here to stay. I think they're going to expand because it really forces people to use their health care wisely, and while they're doing that, they're saving. The HSA can be used not just in the current year, but any unpaid money that is left over in the HSA can carry it over from 1 year to the next, including it can be carried over into retirement.
Yep.
Into retirement. And it can be used to pay for Medicare Part B premiums. It can be used to pay for long-term care insurance premiums. Many people are not aware of this. These HSAs are going to be around forever. I just want to emphasize again, in order to be able to contribute to an HSA, you have to be enrolled in a high-deductible health insurance plans. And on the column I wrote for FedZone talking about the various health plans, it's up there on the website. I do reference, again, which plans are associated with the high-deductible health insurance plan. So you can see it on the OPM website and what the premiums are and so on. But bottom line is, I love them.
Yep. And also, just like with the other ones, you do have a link in that article that'll take you to information on plans and premiums. So, okay, Ed, let's finish this up with a little high tempo stuff here. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. A lot of folks may not know this, but Ed makes us take tests. So every month he hits us with quizzes, and it's a real challenge for us. We feel really good about ourselves, and then we take Ed's quizzes and we realize how much more we have to learn. So whenever I get a chance to have a little fun with him like this, I don't want to pass that up. So he finishes this article with some great bullet points for each one. So there's 2 or 3, 4 things that he says about each one. We're going to go through these quick. So I'm going to fire these off to him, and then he's going to hit his bullet points, and that's how we'll kind of bring this thing home. So Ed, I'll name the plan option, and you can fire off those bullet points. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so fee-for-service without a PPO.
You're generally going to pay more out of pocket. You have to file the claims yourself and have to wait to be reimbursed.
Okay. Fee-for-service, but you have a PPO.
You generally will pay less when you get care. More preventive health care services may be covered, and you most likely will have less paperwork.
Okay. And then, little twist here, fee-for-service plan with a PPO only option.
You must use network providers to get benefits. You will generally pay co-payments and have no deductibles. You will have little, if any, paperwork. Okay.
And straight up HMO.
You will have limitations on the doctors and other providers you can use. You will usually pay less when you get care. You will have little, if any, paperwork. More preventive care services may be covered.
Okay. All right. So now, a point of service POS plan only using network providers. What can they expect?
You will pay less when you get care. You will get full network benefits and coverage. You will have little, if any, paperwork.
Okay. Now, point of service, and you go outside the network. What should you expect?
Ooh, you'll pay more when you get care. Some services may not be covered out of network at all. You generally have to file the claims all yourself.
Okay. And now, high deductible health plan using providers in the network. What can you expect?
You will usually pay less when you get care. Preventive care is often covered in full, remember, without reaching that deductible, usually with no or only a small deductible or copayment, and you can use your HSA, by the way, to pay that.
See, there you go, folks. Doesn't matter how hard I try, I can't stump him. Boom! That's easy at his best. Okay, so folks, we know you're going to have questions on this. We know that, and that's fine. That's why we're here. We are going to be answering Fed's questions every day. They might as well be yours. So a number of different ways you can go about doing that. Ask Ed, ASKED, at stwserve.com. That's an email address. Fire something in there. You might get Ed. You might get Ed's protege, Jennifer Meyer. So if you attended websites, or the webinars, you will see Jennifer there assisting Ed. So hit the blogs, fed-zone.com. Hit the blogs at stwserve.com. Enroll in any or all of the webinars that you want. We are here to help. Right, Ed?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so pay close attention to the open season, especially this year. We're getting a ton of info out to you. So the big thing we want every single Fed to be able to do this year is by the time we get to mid-December, say, I know what I have, I know why I did it, and I feel good about it. Right, Ed?
Absolutely, and maybe say one more thing, one other category of individuals. I'm getting a lot of questions from Dan, and a lot of people are turning age 65 this year and next year, and that means enrolling in Medicare. And Dan, I am getting tons of questions about the relationship between Medicare and federal employees' health insurance. Those individuals who are military retirees who are enrolled in TRICARE are asking questions. So please, if you cannot attend the November 13th benefits webinar, every month we try to do a webinar on federal employees' health insurance, TRICARE, and Medicare, where we'll answer all your questions about Medicare. Trust me, it is not an easy thing to grasp yourself, so it really helps when someone explains what is the relationship between Medicare and federal employees' health insurance and TRICARE. We'd love to have your questions. Please.
Absolutely. Every single day, all day, we're answering questions. They might as well be yours. And folks, that is a wrap. Ed will be back as we continue to work together to reach, teach, and serve you. We are serving those who serve. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on our YouTube channel and Spotify. You can also find it on the newly designed website. Get over there, check it out, show it to your friends. You're going to like it. Please remember to share this podcast with friends, strangers, enemies, you name it. If there are extraterrestrials out there pretending to be feds, let them try it. We are here to help everybody. And the more you share it with other people, the more people are going to find out about this and get the right information. That's what we're all about here. Check us out on Twitter and LinkedIn. Don't forget the live webinars every single week. Just go to the SWS website at stwserve.com and you'll see the big red webinar button. And click that and it'll take you to the landing page. Virtual Ed Zurndorfer is live. We have 9 webinars. They are all awesome. The guru will come to you. Okay, so it's live webinars with Ed as we work to reach you where you are, teach you where you are, and above all, serve you where you are. Sign up for one, sign up for all. Share that page with your friends. They will thank you. Read Ed every month in the Fed Zone, fed-zone.com. It is great stuff. So, for Eddie Z, Danny Feds, Ed, the crew serving those to serve, and me, Dan Sipe, good luck, Godspeed, and above all, And this is my signature line. I know some of my folks are trying to steal it from me, but this was mine. Remember, it's your FedLife. Make it a great one because you deserve it. Stay well, stay safe, everybody. We are out.
Thank you for listening to the FedLife podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Serving Those Who Serve or Raymond James. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors Incorporated. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
Raymond James is not affiliated and does not endorse the opinions or services of any of the quoted professionals or their respective firms. Any opinions are those of Dan Sipe and not necessarily those of RJFS or Raymond James. This case study is for illustrative purposes only. Individual cases will vary.
Neither Raymond James Financial Services nor any Raymond James financial advisor renders advice on tax issues. These matters should be discussed with the appropriate professional. Investing involves risk, and you may incur a profit or loss regardless of strategy selected, including diversification and asset allocation.
Raymond James is not affiliated with and does not endorse the opinions or services of the quoted professionals or their respective organizations.